So sab to pehla letter ha Uda. If you just say it, Uda. And here we've got Uda written in a couple of different fonts, so you can see how it might look a little bit different depending on how it's written. But it's still the same letter overall. You can see that the overall shape is the same. And it's the first letter, and it's also a bit of a trickier letter because it has no sound on its own, and it can either be used with onkur, which makes an U sound, with dulankar, which makes an U sound, or hora, which makes an O sound. And when you're using ura with hora, because hora is written at the top, so hora would come at the top like this, like a wavy shape at the top of the letter, and that would clash with the top and look a little bit messy. So what happens is the top of this letter becomes open. I'll show you in a little bit. So how do we write ura? And I'm going to ask you to bear with me a little bit because I'm using my laptop's trackpad. But ura injlikida. So starting near the top left, write a bit like a 3, and then around the top like a candy cane and close the loop. एक बारी और कर दें. So letter 3. It's going to turn out different every time. पर इन जैसी ura लिखते हैं. एक बारी और. Across, down and back again, across, down and back again, then up and round and close that loop. And this thing here, so when you're adding a hora sound, when you're adding an O sound, you just leave the top open. Whoop. So there you can see I've just not closed that gap, makes an O sound. Instead of making it a little bit messy by doing this with a... That's a very bad hora, I'm sorry. Instead of adding this at the top, which looks a bit messy. Let me do that again. So if we just added a hora to a normal ura, it would look something like this. But instead, because we do not want this, we just keep the top of the ura open. Like this. So, ite, we've got a couple of examples of words that we can make using ura. So, ungal means finger. Ungal or ungli. Oot is a camel. Oont. Opera means strange, or like a stranger, or alien, or foreign. Utte means above, or on top. Utte. And upper is another way of saying utte. So upper means above, or on top of something. So ura can make an u, or o sound. And a couple of words using the letter ura are ungal, oont, opera, utte, and upper. So Gurmukhi da dooja letter ha ada. Ada odi apni vi sound hai. So ada is the second letter of the Gurmukhi alphabet, and it does have its own sound, which is a, and it can hold matra or vowel sounds which are related to the letter A in English. So आड़े नाल तुसी कन्ना ला के आ कर सकते हो, दुलावा ला के आ, ते कन्नोड़ा ला के o. So ara can be joined with different matra to make a, and o. But kalle nu word sakde ho. For example, if you added ara with kanna, that would be a, k, ak. And for example, you have ara and kaka. Ara and kaka to make ak. So ara nu si ginjlikida. Again, we're starting at the top left and down, loop, down to make another loop, and then across. Have a line coming top to bottom, and then at the end just to continue the line that goes at the top. But to see dekhiega, ara utto khulla. So the letter is open at the top. There's no continuous line. There's a gap. And this is one of the few letters which doesn't have a continuous line at the top, like most of the others. So, ara, for example, kaka, gaga, these are all letters which have a gap at the top, unlike these, for example. And ura is also a bit different. You can see that it pokes above the line there as well a little bit. For ara has a gap. Chalo fir to likh diya. We'll write it again. So down to make a loop, back up and down to make another loop, and then a vertical line, and then you're just continuing that line at the top. Let's write it a couple more times. And again, with all the different fonts at the top, you can see that ara might look a bit different depending on your handwriting. Alright, and a couple of words using this letter. So teha ak means an eye. So akka would mean eyes. Almari means cupboard or shelf. Achar is a kind of pickle. Achar, type of Indian or South Asian pickle. Andar means inside. Andar. And last of all, asi. Asi means us or we. Letter number 3 is iri. So Gurmukhi which Gurmukhi da tija akhar hai iri. So iri. And again, similar to the letter ura, iri has no sound of its own, but it's used with these 3 vowel symbols or matra. So iri can be used to make sounds that are related to the letter I or the letter E in English. So sihari added to iri makes an I sound, I. Bihari would make an E sound, and lam would make an A sound. I, E, A. And we'll have a look at how to write this letter. Sab to pehle utte a line paoge, so you'll draw that line at the top. This time you are starting at the top right. You'll see in a minute why. And then you draw this line on the left. And that's because you have this shape. The majority of the shape is formed from this line which starts at the top right. Equally fir to kar diya. We'll do it once more. Or actually a couple of times more. So, iri. You can see it looks a bit similar to other letters, and in one of the slides later on, we will also see if you want to group, learn the letters together by shape, then we can do that as well. But ithe asi, ek ek karke, we'll learn the letters in order one by one. So, iri. Like the video like there. Line at the top, and then top right down, round and across. Make sure you're keeping it open, and then draw that line on the left hand side. Utte, line, and then go down, across. Make sure you don't end up accidentally closing that loop. This. And a couple of words that begin with this letter are Izzat. Izzat means respect. Eid. Eid is a Muslim festival. Ilaj. Ilaj is treatment or cure. And Ekta. Ekta means unity. So letter number 4. Sassa. Gurmukhi da chautha letter hai sassa. we're going to try and speed things up a little bit. So from now on, all of these letters can be used with all of the matra. So we'll just try and speed through it, learn how to write these. Sasevaste, line at the top, then start the top left, go down, round to make a loop, and straighten it out, and then vertical line down. Sasa. This gap should be closed technically. Sasa. And again, across, down, loop round, another line coming down from the top. Sasa. In some Punjabi fonts and some of the computerized fonts, you might see sasa. You might see sasa looking a bit like, very, very hidden loop there on the left-hand side. But there is one there in theory, but it might not be as visible as it is in handwritten fonts. Ik lori hor likhte hain, so we'll write it a couple more times. Make sure that you're practicing this as well. Sasa makes an S sound, makes an S sound. Sasa. Sasa. Alright. And a couple of words beginning with sasa is sup. Sup means snake. Sangat. Sangat is like a community, and it's especially used to refer to the Sikh congregation or the Sikh community. Sangat. Saf. Saf means clean or tidy. Saf. And sadak. Sadak means road or street. Sadak. Letter number 5, Banjwa letter, ha, ha. Ha is probably the most fun letter to say and to write, maybe. So start off with the line at the top, and then loop round from the top right. Make sure it doesn't close. So inj nahi hona chahiye, that makes a completely different letter. So ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਾਹਾ ਲਿਖਣਾ, ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਖੁੱਲਾ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. It should stay open. Should be a gap. Haha. I guess if you're comparing it to an English letter, you use similar kind of shape or concept to the letter J. So we'll write it a couple more times. Line across at the top, starting roughly 2/3 or 3/4 of the way across. Go down and loop round to the left, and make sure you don't close it. Haha. Haha. Again, hard very thoda ja alag lagega. Each time it's going to look a little bit different. That's how it is with handwriting. Haha. Te दो चार लफ्ज़ और शब्द जो ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਿਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ. Haha, hathi. Hathi means elephant. Himmat. Himmat means courage. Hava. Hava means air or wind. And holi. Holi means slowly or slow.